22 for Iowa State, over 10 for Oklahoma. 2 matches to go. Now, in order to get a tie, Oklahoma has to win 2 falls in a row. All right? Can't be any worse than a tie for Iowa State. John Heropoulos is in there with a tough customer. Dan Shade, ranked number 2 in the country. Heropoulos has at least the first offensive move, although he wasn't able to pull off a takedown.
Now they're in this position. Shade likes this because he's wrestled a lot of Greco and a lot of freestyle. Does a nice underarm spin, comes in behind his opponent for his 2-point takedown.
Takedown for Shade.
You just very seldom see a good athlete pick a man up from the rear standing position anymore. They almost always sidestep him and then lift them from the side. That's what makes that so effective at getting their opponent back to the mat.
2-0. Shade lets Heropoulos go. As we said, he's lost only 1 match this year. Shade lost to Goldman of Iowa, Dwayne Goldman, by 1 point.
Well, he's been improving steadily. You know, that 1 year he went down to 177. Now he's back up, and I'm sure he feels more comfortable 190. He's got a pretty good rangy young man.
John Heropoulos, a junior from Canton, Ohio, who said the same hometown as Dave Graysinger, who was wrestling for Oklahoma at 142. Shade is in on the leg.
He's in there deep, and now what he has to do is just make his movement, keep the other man off balance. But Heropoulos is doing a good job there of using the whizzer to keep the pressure on. Still no takedown.
The whizzer, that overhook with the arm now.
He's got to drop his hips away from Heropoulos to score the takedown. Heropoulos needs to hold the hips, so he's going to lose it there.
And it's 4-1.
As you said, he's such a pinner. Shade has really a good chance before he graduates of eclipsing Danny Hodges' all-time pin mark at Oklahoma State. And that's because he just continues to put the pressure on and keep the man toward his back.
4-1, 1:18 left in the first period. Shade went right in on the leg.
He uses the legs and a half. He's fairly effective with that. If he can get the pry down on top of the back of the head, then he'll be effective. And we haven't seen him have a chance to work in here very much. The referee usually has been letting him go about this length of time. Stalemate. Next time he'll stall him.
Well, the face of wrestling has changed a great deal in not very many years, has it, Chuck?
It certainly has.
You can't stay on top and crank people over anymore, so you're really forced to go to that freestyle, takedown, takedown, takedown. And the scoring has now caused it to happen that way, too. You can win by a technical fall without pinning a man on his back.
Yes, it certainly has.
You probably, as a coach, had to make that kind of adjustment, too, didn't you?
We saw it coming there in the early 70s. The movement started to be made sometime in the 73 to 74 time span. He's in deep on the single again. Heropoulos does a nice job now dropping his hips around.
20 seconds to go in the first period, and it's a 2-point lead for Shade.
Heropoulos really has control of this position by the place his body's in. But Shade's power just takes him out of it.
4-2, we say again that Iowa State leads by 12, and Oklahoma must win 2 falls or technical falls in order to get a tie in this meet.
I don't think they can get that done.
Let's go.
We're at Hilton Coliseum, College Wrestling Series. The voice of the analyst is that of Chuck Patton, as you know, for 18 years the coach at the University of Northern Iowa. Shade is out in 17 seconds, makes it 5-2.
He doesn't mind being up here. This upper body lock position. Shade's a very good freestyle and Greco wrestler, so he'll be there if you'll let him be there. But Heropoulos bends his body over, kind of takes him out of position with it. Keeping the head in the way takes him out of position. This is not going the way Coach Abel thought it would. I'm sure, the last several weeks.
Well, especially the big shock was at 167. I would say it probably was. Solomon Carr beat John LaVille at 13-7. With a near fall, big throw in the last few seconds of the second period, and then a bunch of takedowns and near falls in the last period.
Now he has him locked up in this front headlock position. He's got to try to pull him out away from his base first in order to affect the takedown. So he just didn't get him off base enough. Didn't pull him forward away from the base. Heropoulos came at it very nicely.
Shade leads 5-2. We have 40 seconds to go in the second period. Team score 22 for Iowa State, 10 for Oklahoma.
You want to get in here too deep. See, there's that power leg Heropoulos had, but he lost it, gave it up.
And got the takedown. It's Shade's takedown 7-2. He now has 3 takedowns.
You know, with the emergence of Iowa State's program coming right here in the last few weeks, making the progress, Oklahoma's injuries, you know, this could go down as a major upset. I'm not too sure how major when they lost Johnston and a couple of those other people, Johnny Johnson at 158. But they've wrestled very well. Iowa State, I think, has taken the second team in the country to task here.
And Stan Abel is not very happy with this part of his road trip. He wrestled at Drake one night ago. Dan Shade, 7-2. You saw Daryl Peterson warming up for the heavyweight match over on the side. End of the second period, 7-2.
But part of it is the frustration of being behind and knowing that you're going to lose, but part of it also has to be the fact that his athletes just aren't wrestling the way he wanted them to wrestle. A couple of these guys that he thought could get 6-pointers are not getting them.
Shade started up, lets his man go, 7-3. That's an awful lot of points to get on takedowns, but he'd like to get a throw in here probably.
That's, I'm sure, what he's looking for is a takedown to the back, and Heropoulos bends over so much he can't do that. If you can get him to stand upright, you have a chance. Not when he's bent way over.
Heropoulos shot got him momentarily underneath, but Shade wasn't able to keep him there. We have 1.5 minutes to go.
Singles won't win the meet for him, but it would win the match for him. That's what he's doing now. Is can't affect what he wants in this position where he can throw. Just hips are too far back for him. Heropoulos is doing a nice job in this match, blocking off everything that Shade's putting at him so far here in the last period. Our coach is wanting to sink the whizzer in deep, use that power leg, elevate the leg that's down in the crotch. Got the wrist tied up, use that. So he just didn't elevate that leg, and he's lost the whizzer now, so he's not very effective with it. He's going to lose the takedown.
9-3. Shade in on the leg. Referee already is counting, and that's a change these years, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Let's start again, guys. Who's bleeding?
Somebody has blood. I see Shade has blood on the bridge of his nose. Whose blood?
It takes a lot of time. Yeah, it takes a lot of time on those legs to knock the man down and put a lot of pressure on him in order to be able to make him effective.
Les Anderson. That's right. He was the first national champion that Harold Nichols ever had. So he kept him around.
Sure started an era for him, though, didn't it?
He did, too. That's right. 9-4 is the score for Shade after the escape. And if Heropoulos, and he certainly will, the appearances of it, keeps from getting pinned in the last 7 seconds, Iowa State is going to beat Oklahoma tonight. And the Cyclone fans can relax while they're watching Daryl Peterson. There it is. With riding time, it is a 10-4 win for Dan Shade of Oklahoma, making the score 22 for the Cyclones and 13 for the Sooners, but it's Iowa State's meet. Dan Shade, ranked second in the country, looking for a rematch somewhere along the line with Dwayne Goldman. He hopes for the national title. And out comes After you see John Heropoulos there for a moment, we're going to look at the two heavyweights.